Hello, today I'm going to share the installation process of the VMware player in Windows, along with the loading process of an Ubuntu image and navigating to the desktop in the Ubuntu machine. It is recommended that you have at least 2 processor cores, 8 gigs of RAM, and 20 gigabytes of space, and possibly administrator privileges. You can check this by going to Task Manager. Click the Windows key and type in Task Manager. Then navigate to the Performance tab and check under CPU if you have more than 2 cores, under Memory if you have more than 8 gigabytes of RAM, and to check your disk space remaining, go to File Explorer, Local Disk, right-click Properties, and check if your free space is above 20 billion bytes, which translates to 20 gigabytes. If your computer has the performance capabilities to create a virtual machine, now the process of installing VMware must begin. Navigate to VMware's website. You can search in VMware and go to their official site. This will work in all browsers generally that have download capabilities. Go to Downloads and Free Product Downloads. Then click Workstation Player. Click Try Workstation Player for Windows and download now. This will open a file manager window and you can click Save to download VMware Player Installer. So while that installs, I will now navigate to Ubuntu's homepage to download the image file. So type in Ubuntu and go to ubuntu.com, Downloads, and Ubuntu Desktop. In Ubuntu Desktop, it will automatically start downloading, but if it doesn't work, click Download Now. So as you can see, the File Manager window has opened once more, and this time the type is an ISO file, which is an image file. So click Save to save the image, and the image takes up gigabytes of space, in this case 2.5 gigabytes, so it may take some time to download. During the download, I will explain what a virtual machine is. VM is a short form of virtual machine, so VMware is a tool to create and use virtual machines. A virtual machine is an operating system within another operating system, a computer inside your own. It has its own virtual hardware, limited only by your hardware. It sets a partition of your hard drive as reserved to be used for the virtual environment. It can do everything a normal computer can, but it does it as a secondary process of your own computer. So while our Ubuntu image is downloading, we can start installing our VMware player. You can double-click the vmwareplayer.exe file to install. Click Yes for admin privileges. An installer window will open. Click Next. Accept the license agreements. I don't recommend reading them, it's quite long. Click Next once more. You can change where you would install the VMware program, but generally program files x86 is the best place. Enhanced keyboard driver is not necessary, however. Next once more. You don't need to join the VMware Experience Improvement Program, but checking for updates is generally recommended. Click Next once more. So you might want a desktop or start menu program folder. Next, and install. Now the installation is taking place. And now, finish. Now, VMware is successfully installed. You can check this by going to your desktop page and click VMware, or clicking the Start menu and typing in VMware and opening VMware Player. So now we can create a new virtual machine or open a virtual machine. However, to create a new virtual machine, we will need the image file, which is still currently downloading. I will speed up the downloading process so you can see what happens at the end. Now that Ubuntu has been downloaded, it's best if we move the image to a more permanent place, such as documents. So I'm currently moving the ISO file from downloads to documents. Now we can open up VMware and create a new virtual machine. Here, select the image file, which you can go to Browse, Documents, and navigate to your image file, which in this case is in Ubuntu VM. Open. Then click Next, and you can put the name of your Linux VM. So you can put your name, in this case my name is Sean, and for example purposes, I'll put my username as admin and password also as admin, and confirm the password as admin. So the virtual machine name can be Ubuntu 64-bit, and the location it will be stored in is noted here. Click Next. You can define your storage disk capacity, how big your virtual machine takes up space, the partition size, or split the virtual disk into multiple files, which apparently is easier according to this, or as a single file. So I'll leave it as multiple files, and because I want to do some more things on my VM that require space, I can increase the storage 30. If you increase it more to the size that you do not have, then it'll cause difficulties and your system might crash. Then click Next. You can also customize your hardware. So I'll leave it at 4 gigabytes of RAM and 2 cores. We have the ISO file we chose here. Network adapter. NAT is used to share the IP address. Usually I use bridge, but I'll leave it as NAT this time. USB controller, sound card, printer. Virtual printers must be enabled, so it's difficult to use printers. And displays. So you can actually enable how many gigabytes of VRAM you want to use, video RAM. So I'll use 1 gigabyte. So now we enable all the settings, and we can power on this virtual machine after creation. So it'll automatically start up. Otherwise, we can just uncheck this and you got to manually start up. So I'll show you how that works. So click Finish. And now we have our Ubuntu 64-bit virtual machine here. Now if we want to start it up, play virtual machine. Full screen. And here we have VMware tools for Linux, so we can download and install that as well. So Ubuntu is starting up here, and we're downloading VMware tools for Linux. So click full screen to enter full screen. And this thing up here is the actual window itself if you want to exit. So VMware product requires administrator, yes. So Ubuntu is starting up, booting up, as it is a virtual machine. And now we have Ubuntu. So it's installing itself, which is funny. And we're here. So who are you? You put your name in. Computer's name, we can leave it as Shine Virtual Machine. And username, apparently, so admin is reserved for used by the system, so we had to pick a different one, so that's why we're here. So we'll just leave it at Shine, but the password we can leave as admin again, admin. And we'll have it log in automatically, but if you want to, when you start up or boot up the machine, have your password required to log in, you should do that. And it's definitely more secure to do that. But for demonstration purposes, I'll leave it in as login automatically. So now it's completing all its startup processes. So you can also see some interesting new features according to this. So you can find software in the software store, music player, photos, Chromium or Firefox, and LibreOffice. It's open source, it's comparable to Microsoft Office, but it's free. Many tools on Linux, which is great. And now it's installing system. And now Ubuntu is installed. It's a bit small right now. I don't quite remember how we can make it full screen. Yeah, now it's in full screen. We can skip our online account, syncing. We don't need, I mean, to be honest, you don't need most of these unless you want to sync your accounts. It's best if we send feedback. So we can install Visual Studio Code, Android Studio, OBS. You'll see all of these famous applications. Many of them are available in Ubuntu: Opera, Telegram, Audacity. Yeah. So this is in the software tab. But other than that, Ubuntu is ready. We can check our internet with terminal. So open up terminal, ping www.google.com, and it seems we have internet. So that's good. We can see this updated software. We can install that, but I'll set it to remind me later. Yep. So currently we are all set. Actually, let's check our settings and about. So we have i5-8600K, which is also my computer, but we only have 2 cores. 4 gigs of RAM, which is what we set, and 32 gigs of capacity, which is basically what we set, including the ISO image. 64-bit Ubuntu and VMware virtualization. And now I'll just check through the Ubuntu software settings. Yes, so it seems everything was perfectly great. We have LibreOffice here. Everything's ready, and it's ready. So now I'm going to show you some tools to use the Ubuntu virtual machine and suspend or turn off the machine when you're done. So for terminal, which is the primary part of Ubuntu and Linux in general, you can click Control-Alt-T to open up a terminal, and ls is the command to list all of the directories. So currently this is all we have. Sudo for superdo, or as admin. So to escape from this, as I mentioned before, we have this bar up here, so we can pin the bar if we need it all the time, which usually you don't. We can escape from player and then power, shut down guest, or suspend, or restart the computer. And this is from the VMware window, not from the computer itself. So that's another feature of VMware. Send Control-Alt-Delete or manage. And you can even change your settings, though it recommends that you should turn off the computer before you change it. So now I'm going to exit this virtual machine. So you could click exit, or what I preferably do is Control-Alt-Delete and click logout. So Control-Alt-Delete also attempts to log out my original computer, the computer I'm actually on. But you can do that for the virtual machine itself, or just click power
power off, log out, and then log out and log out. So now I'm logged out, and then I can go up here and click close to close the virtual machine. And then click power off or suspend if you want to leave it in a safe state. Yeah. So I'm going to power off it actually right now. So thank you for watching, and I wish you the best in your virtual computing. Bye.